Hi, everybody. It's good to see you again. I wanted to just say what a pleasure it's been reading your posts and seeing you engage with our first 2 weeks of readings. I really particularly liked how much you guys took up the triple nexus and the integrated peacekeeping model. Didn't you guys were really all on board for that central contention that we have to take peace, economic development, and humanitarianism as a kind of as a unified approach to development. It's surprising how many policymakers really struggle to see those as a shared concerted effort. Great posts and great engagement with the readings. This last week, where we really took on challenging readings like Arendt and Farmer and other kinds of core philosophical readings on violence. I really appreciated how you dove in and you approached these core theorists and engaged. I don't know how helpful you found Arendt, but as we move into this week, where we're going to be focusing on human rights, new challenges for human rights around technology, you're going to see a lot of Arendt. So at least you'll feel like you have some basis from which to approach these readings for this week. So just a quick reminder that your conflict analysis will be due on Monday. So please make sure that you have started that and you've been working on it. And if anything comes up, I have office hours on Monday and I'll be there, and it's pretty close to the deadline, but if you're having challenges, you can feel free to stop by my office hours. You can see the Zoom link on the webpage, or you can send me an email. I probably won't answer over the weekend, but I'm available on Friday and on Monday, and I'm here to support you through that. This is really your first attempt to try to think with a particular case and get the rudimentary skills of conflict analysis. So this week, what are we working on this week? This week, we're going to really dive into technology and what human rights has to say about technology. And all of our readings come from a wonderful edited collection called the Human Rights Reader. It's a collection of it has a bunch of excerpts from the key theoretical pieces in human rights. If you are struggling or wondering how you can quickly get up to speed on human rights, this is a great book because they've done the work of finding the key passages and the key text to cover all of these topics. And they added a new chapter in the new edition, which is really focused on new technologies. And that's what we're going to be reading this week. I've added some optional case study materials on AI and the US election, on pandemics and pandemic preparedness, but you don't have to engage with those. I know that you guys are going to be really busy reading. Also, I wanted to give you a little bit of a lighter week after all the work you've done on your conflict analysis. Also, I posted in this week the guidelines for your next assignment, which is going to be your assessment, your evaluation plan for a project. So really, please take a look at that. You're going to have to find a project and develop a way, not actually evaluate, but develop a plan for how you might evaluate it. This is evaluation is not the focus of this course, but it's a really key area in human rights work. So the capacity to do an evaluation plan and to think about whether a program is working or not and how we might assess that is really one of the core skills to get a job in human rights or the development field. So this just kind of gives you a flavor of that and how we might apply it to conflict and development. Okay, now I'm really going to talk about this week's readings. So there are 3 main topics that you can choose from, and I'm asking you to read 2 of the 3. If you read everything, it would be 40 pages, but they're really dense pieces, and I want you to take the time to choose what you're interested in and read them really well. So the first section, the first set of readings is a set of 4 readings, and they're focused on human rights in the digital age. So in this set, there's a lot of discussion of surveillance capitalism and how the relationship between digital life digital rights and surveillance. And so you'll kind of come to really understand what we mean, or what the authors mean, about surveillance capitalism. And so you can begin to think about what threats and potentials emerge in the digital age around technology. The second section, it really takes a deep dive on pandemics and human rights. This book was published after the COVID-19 pandemic, and really tries to think, well, what does human rights have to say about this? About the experiences of COVID-19, and in general, how pandemics, which unfortunately are going to become an increasing part of our human society, like how does health and pandemics and our governance of them, what does it mean for human rights? So there you'll read some original Michel Foucault that talks about pandemics and social control, and also some reflections on COVID-19 and that experience, and what we might learn from it about human rights and pandemics. And the final section is on human rights and emerging technologies, and it has some essays focused on AI and human rights, and a set of essays open on gene editing and human rights. So if you really want to think of, okay, what does it mean for emergent technologies, and how we might govern them, to think about them in human rights terms. So those are the three sections. I want you to pick two. And then I've asked you to answer a question that comes from the beginning of the chapter. So you can answer one of those questions drawing on concepts from the readings. I would really be great if you drew on an actual contemporary set of issues or experiences to help highlight your answer, but it's not required. You can draw on the additional materials if you want, or if you have an experience in these areas, then it'd be great for you to bring in your own case material. So that's it for this week. It's really been so much fun to look at your lively discussions on the website, and know that I'm out here to support you both as you're doing the readings and as you're answering the questions. Great work, everybody, and I look forward to your thoughts on human rights and new technologies.